Well, a massive warm welcome to today's training. How to use Facebook to add 100 people per day to your email list, but much more importantly, how to get them off of your email list and into a sales conversation. Because what's the point in building an email list unless you're going to be able to monetize it afterwards? Okay, so welcome to today's training. Now, here's what you're going to learn in the next 45 to 60 minutes. How you can use Facebook to add 100 people per day to your email list in the next 7 days, and how you can do it again the next week and again the next and again and again. How you can create your very own market for your services and leave the competition way behind. They're in the dust. They're not even close. The proven step-by-step system that will see you automating all of your lead generation. Just imagine being able to put all on autopilot. How to treat your email list as your biggest asset so you need never be short of leads again. Just imagine the ability to be able to send out an email and fill your diary with qualified leads whenever you choose. That's what I'm going to show you how to do today. And how to monetize your email list fast. None of this so-called email nurturing. Let's turn them from a clicker on your Facebook ad to a phone call that's booked in with you and scheduled in less than 48 hours. Plus, how to do all of this while spending less time chasing down leads than you ever have before. Sick and fed up with that really long sales cycle? I'm going to show you how to shorten the sales cycle and prevent yourself from ever having to chase down leads again. So this is for you. If you are any type of expert, or whether you are a consultant, therapist, coach, service provider, internet marketer, any type of expert whatsoever, whether you're brand new, intermediate, or experienced, these techniques will work for you to bring in clients. This is for you if every client is worth upwards of $500 or if you wish they were. So my promise to you is that during today's training, I'm going to give you a step-by-step strategy that if you follow it, will add an extra 5 to 6 figures per month to your business, using the simple power of Facebook ads to build an email list. It's as simple as that. So, is this you? Is this where you are currently? Do you have some weeks when you get lots of leads and others when you don't get any? And you cannot seem to find any way of getting consistency in your lead flow? Does this lead to a feast and famine situation in your business, resulting in inconsistent cash flow? One minute you've got lots of money in the bank account, next minute you haven't got any. You wish it was far more consistent and balanced. Wish you knew where the leads were coming from in order to make that happen. When you get leads on the phone, does it feel like a battle, like an uphill struggle? And as if you need to convince them to work with you? How frustrating a feeling when that happens. Do you see competitors of yours who are far busier than you, but you can't figure out how they manage it? They're not any different than you. Do you secretly know that your work is worth far more and it's far better than what you're currently charging? But you cannot figure out how to get better, higher quality leads to come to you in order to be able to charge more. Do you feel as though technology is totally the enemy? And you can't figure out how all of these pieces, social media, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, emails, what on earth's lead pages and ClickFunnels, and how are all of these platforms supposed to fit together? Do you feel as if there must be a better way to run a business? Now, the real problem, you haven't yet positioned yourself as the go-to expert in your marketing. And you haven't automated your lead generation, so the leads come to you. Once you do, your marketing will position you as the go-to expert, as the guru, giving you the ability to raise your prices, giving you the ability to pick and choose which leads you want to work with at any time. Leads can be turned on and off like a tap whenever you choose. The solution is automation, an automated lead generation strategy. And there's 5 simple steps that you need to put in place to create it. And I'm going to walk you through these today. Okay, so a very quick 1-minute introduction to who I am, because I don't believe in taking up lots of your time on my trainings telling you who I am. My name is Claire Jarrett. I'm the best known paid traffic and lead attraction expert in the UK, with clients worldwide across Europe, the US, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, etc. Because these techniques work worldwide. I've trained in excess of 35,000 people to date on training such as this one, face-to-face courses, programs, etc. And my clients typically add an extra $70,000 to $600,000 a year to their businesses. Now, please note that sometimes I get queries from those in the UK as to why I'm using dollars when I'm clearly from the UK and could be using pounds. And that is because I advertise worldwide, so it makes most sense to use dollars for that purpose. So please bear with me. Okay, so let's get started on the 5 steps. So there's 5 steps to follow to implement these strategies in your business, but I would let you know that some of them are not going to be what you would think. So please keep an open mind when you're hearing them. So to begin with, our first step, aim wide and change the way that people think. Okay, so it's common to think that we need to chase down people who already know they need our help, people who've got a problem, people who know they've got a problem. Maybe you've seen ads calling out to people with a specific problem. Maybe you've seen ads calling out to people that are seeking a specific solution. The problem with this is it gives yourself a very small market to work with, and it hugely cuts down your potential market. So instead, stop focusing on the problem, stop focusing on the solution, and instead stop niching and aim to change the way that people think in order to turn them into your prospects. So how can we do this? So ask yourself, what do you know about your subject that most people don't? What are the common misconceptions that people have about your topic? What do you find people correcting when you're sat next to them at dinner? What beliefs do people have about your subject area, maybe in networking meetings, that you commonly find yourself needing to correct? Your marketing needs to be aimed mainstream at a wider market, at a big pool of potential prospects. And it needs to be aimed at changing those beliefs. If you change their beliefs, you will be educating the market, positioning yourself as the expert, and creating your own prospects. If you can change people's beliefs through what you do, through your marketing, you're going to create prospects who didn't even realize they had a problem because they didn't know they did. This means your market is wide open, leaving your competition in the dust, and you're creating your own market. So let's look at a case study. Don is a UK-based diabetes specialist with a phenomenal program which helps people reverse the effects of diabetes type 2. He was originally charging by the hour, typically less than $50 per session. While working with him, we helped him create a Facebook and email marketing funnel that targeted people who were pre-diabetes. Throughout his marketing, he showed them it was possible to reverse diabetes, thereby creating a pool of prospects for his services, because originally they hadn't even realized that this was possible. We helped him add in a coaching element, helped him push the price up to $1,000. In fact, I think it might have been £1,000 actually, so that's probably around about $1,500. He immediately sold 2 people into his brand new program immediately, so in the first couple of weeks. Second step, become a thought leader. Okay, so we're now going to look at becoming a thought leader using the power of online marketing. To start with, you'll want to create a personal brand and promote it on Facebook. So what do I mean by that? I mean creating a business page. This isn't your Facebook profile. Facebook profile is what you use to access Facebook every day. That's you as a person. I'm talking about creating a business page on Facebook, which ideally has your name somewhere within it so that you can use it for advertising on Facebook. You'll want your name somewhere within the title, and you'll want your profile picture as the main picture on it, because this is about branding you, about you becoming a thought leader. You'll want to prepare marketing materials that clearly demonstrate you know what you're talking about. That's how to become a thought leader. You do want to prepare some good marketing materials. And don't be afraid of teaching really good stuff. You know, that's how to become a thought leader, is what are the things that you find yourself correcting time after time, the real essence of what you do. And then in order to stay at the top of people's minds, you know, we want this to be automated wherever possible. We want to do this once, maybe once a month or once a week, and then automate it. So what we're going to do is we're going to use things like Facebook retargeting to follow people around. So you might create a blog once, for example, and then follow people around with it on Facebook, fans of your page, anybody who's visited your website. Once people have heard of you once, you want to follow them around constantly to ensure people really feel like they learn to know you really well, okay? So that they're always thinking about you. And here's some examples of some easy to prepare thought leader materials. Now remember, each of these materials is going to be aimed at point 1, changing beliefs. What do you know about your topic that your market doesn't? So a potential example, one that I use a lot, blogs. Ideally 400 to 500 words as a minimum, well written, and then promoted on a Facebook page, plus sent out as an email. You can reuse it by sending it out as an email. And you'll promote that on the Facebook page and then create a small ad to target fans of your page and to bring in new fans as well. You can then, of course, reuse this multiple times, as I've suggested, reusing it as an email by sending it out. You can also then, if a blog does particularly well, use it to create a report or a checklist or a guide of some sort, a how-to guide showing people how to do something. Then you can also, my personal favourite is automated webinars like this one, that you can record once and then it runs worldwide using Facebook ads. My last webinar that I recorded maybe 4 or 5 months ago has now been watched by more than 15,000 people, and it typically has been bringing in certain days like 100, 200 people per day. So it's a really powerful way of bringing in highly qualified leads. Let's look at a quick case study. Emily is a business-to-business specialist who helps coaches create live workshops, and she was originally charging an hourly rate of around about $100. We helped her to create a marketing funnel using an automated webinar that positioned her as the leading specialist in live workshops. We helped her add in a few different elements, live coaching, etc., and helped her put the price up to $3,000. And she immediately sold 5 people into her program in the first 7 weeks after relaunching it. Now note that all of these 5 new clients she brought in went from clicking the Facebook ad to signing up to a $3,000 program within 48 hours. So this is how short the sales cycle will be. Step 3, become appointment only. So in order to create these great qualified leads, which will of course lead to great highly qualified clients, we need to create the expectation that our time is valuable and it must always be treated as such. This is one of the major errors that I see coaches, consultants, experts, etc. make. So what you're going to need to do is remove any ability to call you directly. So no telephone numbers on websites, Facebook pages, etc. Consider, if this is going to be difficult for you, consider hiring a call answering service. If you do want to give out a telephone number, and then they'll be able to take a message for you instead. Once the message has been collected, you can then respond by asking them to set up an appointment. A true prospect will always be willing to book in for an appointment and will respect you for doing so. So what I want is no more. This is something I hear a lot from clients, is there had been a lot of picking my brains. You know, those type of time wasting, I just want some free advice from you. Those type of conversations that go on forever where people call and get free advice and you think, you know, you really should be charging for this. No more of that. No more picking of your brains. Okay, so in order to become appointment only, you're going to need an application form in order to have people booking in the appointment and qualifying themselves to you. So you want an application form with qualifying questions, and bear in mind that the more questions you add to your form, then the better qualified the lead's going to be. So I'm going to pop my example up for you. Now this is my application form, which I'm going to invite you to complete shortly to get more help on this particular topic. And note that if the form doesn't show at this point, if for some reason the link doesn't pop up, then don't worry, you will get redirected to it at the end of the webinar. Okay, so the old way was having prospects calling you and having no agenda for the call because you weren't expecting them to call you, and setting no expectation that on the call they're going to make a decision whether to work with you or not. Chasing down prospects, you know, what a headache. Really long sales cycles, having to chase prospects time after time. Feeling desperate about getting the sale. You know, this is the real enemy of the sale, is the desperation we can feel about getting it. Such a frustrating feeling. And sometimes having to discount in order to get the sale. Who wants to be in that position week after week? Working with anybody who would pay the often discounted rates, meaning that of course you're not working with great clients, meaning that you can't do your best work with the people that are your clients because they're not as committed as you would want them to be. You can see how the whole process is fitting together. Now the new way is instead asking prospects to book in for a call. Ensuring that the prospect's pre-qualified by asking a series of questions. Ensuring that your time is valued by the prospect because they've booked in, because they've answered questions. They know that you are the expert because it's positioned as such in your marketing. And feeling super confident that the leads that come through are pre-qualified. Of course, this then means you'll only be working with clients that you know you can help and that are going to be great to work with, giving you the love and passion back for your business that you always wanted to have in the first place. Okay, so next point, treat your email list like the asset it's supposed to be. Do not be afraid to email your list and ask for the appointment. That's what it's there for. It's an asset. Have you ever been guilty of being too afraid to email your list? Maybe you've not even compiled the list in the first place. Maybe it's sat there as scrappy little bits of paper that you've never even compiled. But instead you're telling yourself, oh, I could email them if I wanted to. Maybe you've been too afraid to start your list because you didn't know what you were going to say to them. Instead of just saying anything, okay, as long as you get into a conversation, yes, we do ideally want to position ourselves as a thought leader, but the first step is to just start that email list and get in touch with them. So let's look at some of my examples of where you can use your email list as an asset, of some of my specific examples that I myself have sent out to create leads. And I did this, of course, whenever I wanted. Whenever I wanted to create leads, I would send out one of these emails. And many of you will have received these email lists, these emails where you've been on my email list a while, by the way. So some of these you will definitely recognize. So this one is a direct call to action, as in we want them straight away to become a lead, to become an appointment. I wanted to run this idea past you, offer a select number of you the chance to get several weeks mentoring with me free, then stop the clock in X date. So essentially you would get an extra several weeks free mentoring throughout the rest of July. So notice that we also have the time in here as well. So we've got it's time specific, we've got the offer of giving something away for free. Would that benefit you? If so, simply book in a time. And of course, we then have the questions on the form as well, with the click here to book leads to an appointment scheduling form, where they would then qualify themselves too. In the meantime, have a great week. So you can see that's short, to the point, gets them to become a lead straight away by offering something that's of interest, and then pre-qualifies them by asking them to answer questions at the time. Now this one, I've sent this email out a number of times. I would say it's probably generated upwards maybe 300 appointments. I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. It's, I reuse this one a lot. It really works. So this is a direct call to action. Here's an example of one where I gave away a new lead magnet alongside giving a call to action, asking them to book in. Is it possible to make 6 figures a year by failing at 99% of your marketing? It certainly is. Download the report here. No further opt-in required. So they literally just had to click it and were able to download a new lead magnet. Now, the lead magnet that was behind this one was created very easily and simply using techniques that I teach my clients all the time. It was literally it was created in probably less than an hour, I believe. Really simple, easy to create lead magnet. Have a great day. Want help figuring out how to apply this in your business? This is where I then ask them, this is the direct call to action, book in a call now by clicking here and let's chat. Okay, so we've got lead magnet plus call to action. That's another example, and again, one that I use regularly. Now the third example is this one, ideally using once a month, once a week if you can, but at the end of the day, it's as long as you're using it regularly, then your list will respond to it. Your list will want to see thought leadership of some sort from you. And so an approach I suggest is step-by-step list. Do this, do this, do this, and giving them some guidance on how to perform a certain element of what it is they want to know how to do. And this email, probably around about 500 words, I would say, was also based around a blog as well, because I tend to reuse them a lot. You can see it's just a very simple email, and at the bottom, simply book in your free planning session here. So content plus call to action. Now these emails will generate, depending on what it is, they'll get very high open rates. They keep your list engaged. Don't tend to get as many leads booked from these, but it is keeping the list warm, so to speak, and ensuring that people don't unsubscribe, because if you were only ever sending them calls to action, as in booking an appointment, you would very rapidly find that you would get a lot of unsubscribes and lose your email list. So it is worth mixing it up by having content emails such as this one. So you'd want to email regularly, up to 3 times a week, Weekly, monthly, it's entirely up to you. There's been times when I've been on holiday and not emailed my list for an entire month, and I come back and jump straight back in, and that's fine. No, this isn't about doing it day in, day out. It's doing it as regularly as you feel capable of. And a mixture of content with those direct calls to action. What you would then do is take the best performing emails. So which are the ones that get you the most leads? You'll then add those in as what's called an autoresponder. So let's say that you've got 2 or 3 emails that did really well, had you quite a lot of leads booked in. You would schedule those so that 24 hours after downloading one of your lead magnets, they get one of your emails. 24 hours afterwards, they get another of the emails. 24 hours afterwards, they get another of your emails, so that you've taken those emails and then put them into a sequence to reuse them. And that's to new people that join your list. And please, this is what your email list is for. Ask for the appointment in every single email. It's an asset. It's there to be used. I am not fond of where people say, it's all about nurturing the list, and they'll send out nice, friendly emails all the time. Oh no, I don't want to be pushing my list, or people are too afraid to ask for the appointment. No, I strongly disagree with that. An email list is an asset. It's there to be used. Please use it. Okay, so case study Steve. My client Steve sent out an email that we helped him create, and this was in the first week of working together. He immediately brought in 5 new clients to whom he charged £5,000 for an 8-week programme. And he made £25,000 before we'd even started on the rest of the materials. Okay, so he was then able to reuse that email later on in a different format just by rewording it slightly and fill his second programme. And you can see how these things move on. Okay, so let's bring it all together. How to use what you've learned today to add 100 people per day to your email list and then get them into the sales conversation. So let's start with specific techniques now. Here's what you're going to need. You're going to need to begin with a Facebook ad, of course. This is partly what it's about. Facebook ad emails. We're going to need a Facebook ad. We're then going to need something to give away. A thought leader lead magnet, something of interest to our target market that positions you as a thought leader. And then we're going to need an appointment scheduler where they can book in for an appointment with you. Okay, so now let's just look at a couple of specific Facebook ad examples. So you can see that in these examples here, I've got really eye-catching examples. The one on the right did particularly well over the New Year period because obviously it's really time specific. That's when people are thinking about change. You'll notice that in both cases I've got numbers in here. So the one on the left, 8 hours to set up. The one on the right, 45-minute training and 5-figure revenue. Numbers work. And you'll notice that on both cases I actually specifically ask people to sign up for the webinar. And in this webinar, I change people's beliefs about what's possible. I talk to them about how Facebook can work for their business, about how you don't need an email list to be able to launch an online program, about how it's possible to work online as a coach or consultant. I generally do what I've taught you today. I break down people's beliefs in the training. Okay, so the first step is always the Facebook ad. And the Facebook ad is what you will use to get people through to the specific lead magnet example. Now, both of these are obviously 2 webinars in this particular example, but it doesn't always have to be webinars, as I've spoken about to you today, and I'll be showing you another example shortly that isn't a webinar. Now, Facebook's targeting really is totally incredible. You can do such amazing things. So here's a few examples. You can target fans of certain pages. So, for example, coaches such as Lewis Howes, well-known business people such as Tim Ferriss, or if you were a health coach, you'd be able to target fans of Weight Watchers. You can target people who read certain books that affect the way they think, such as The Secret, The 4-Hour Work Week. You can target people who've got general interests, such as health coaching, marketing, personal training. You can target friends of your current fans because, of course, people tend to have friends that are fairly similar to them, or some of them anyway. So you can target friends of the current fans of your page. You can target people who are similar to your current fans, something called lookalikes. You can target people who are similar to those who visited your website recently. You can even upload your LinkedIn list and target people who are similar to your LinkedIn connections. And this is a big one because many people that think it's not going to be possible to target their audience on Facebook don't realize that you can actually buy an email list from a broker and then upload it to Facebook, target people in that list that you've bought, but you can then create a second list of people that are similar, people that Facebook knows have the same characteristics as those. An amazing way to find your market on Facebook. So what's the typical cost? What would it typically cost you to go from Facebook ad to getting that email subscriber? Now, this does depend on the type of lead magnet you create. So getting somebody to sign up for a webinar is slightly more expensive than getting people to sign up for a checklist, for example, or to get people to read a blog. That's relatively easy for people to do. To sign up for a webinar would be slightly more expensive typically. Now, overall, an average of $3. So sometimes you can get leads for $1, sometimes it'll be $5 or $6. But on average, it'll be around about $3 to get an email subscriber. Now, a typical response rate, a fast typical response rate, as in they turn into an appointment within 48 hours, would be 1 in 20. So 1 in 20 of those who sign up to your email list will typically become an appointment within 48 hours. So this gives us the average cost per appointment is $60, and it does depend on making sure that you create a good lead magnet, making sure you do your targeting correctly. So there's a few variables here, and that's why you might want to consider talking with me about this process and how to make it work for your business later on. So if your conversion rate on the telephone is only 1 in 5, so if you get 5 leads and 1 of them becomes a client, now many of you will have response rates or conversion rates higher than that on the phone, and if so, great. But based on just 1 in 5, your cost to get that new customer in is going to be $300. So it's going to be 1 in 5, so that's 5 times $60. Now, if the conversion rate is, of course, higher on the telephone, as in you convert 1 in 2, the cost to get that new customer is only going to be $100. And you can see how this process would work in your business. Now, remember, 1 in 20 will become an appointment if marketed to in this way within 48 hours, but you haven't lost those other email subscribers. They're still on your list. And many of them will become leads later on if you do what I've talked to you about in the rest of this training. So if you're consistent with your marketing, if you retarget them on Facebook with blogs or lead magnets, if you keep in touch with them, if you ask them occasionally to become a lead with a direct call to action email, those other 19 of the 20 are not lost. They have the potential to become a lead at any time. So remember, and of course the ones you speak to on the phone. So if you're converting 1 in 5, that's 4 people that didn't become clients straight away. Those highly qualified leads could go into a different email nurturing sequence of some sort. Or of course you could do what I do, which is I tend to stalk people online, as I put it, and I will add them on LinkedIn, add them on Facebook, follow them on Twitter, or other variations of that technique, so that I'm using other methods of staying at the forefront of their mind as well. And it means that even if they weren't ready to buy straight away, you can bet that when they are ready, they're going to come back and buy from me, because of course I'm following them on LinkedIn, I'm liking their posts on Facebook, I'm following them on Twitter, etc. So there's other techniques you can use as well here. Okay. So let's look at some examples of lead magnets, So that it's not all about webinars. So a checklist example. Now this one had, I think it was around about $1.50 and was going down to $1 as well per email subscriber. Checklists do work very well. Now on the left you can see the example, the Facebook ad, and I simply used a brightly coloured image, asked people to download a checklist, then told them it was going to be 23 steps to follow to automate your marketing. Note the use of the number there. Bright image, use of the number, telling people what they're going to get, took them through to a lead magnet, which was the 23-point automated lead generation checklist, and then created, quite simply, that one-page document you can see on the right that was literally a list of do this, 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 and this. And at the bottom it then had a link to book in for a call as well. So you can see how you can do, it doesn't have to be something long you create. A simple one-page checklist you can use to build your email list fast. Now blogs as well. Blogs are a very good strategy to position you as a thought leader. Here's my example, how to turn any prospect into the perfect client by changing the way they think. I then reused a very similar blog, rewrote it slightly and popped it onto the Huffington Post as well, where it then continued to bring me leads from Huffington Post as well when republished. You can see how just creating something once will allow you to reuse it in so many different forms. So this blog, that Facebook ad took them through to the blog, and at the end of the blog, obviously I gave away really useful information to them. I think it was around about 500 words. And at the end of the blog, I, as always, ask them to book in for an appointment. So that's what it's always about the appointment. And of course, automated webinars such as this one. You would have your Facebook ad taking them through to a landing page where they would sign up for a webinar that starts immediately. And at the end of the webinar, you quite simply ask people to fill in an application form if they want to work with you or if they want to explore working with you, in the same way I'm going to ask you to do today. Now, scheduling the appointment. I want you to be bold. I want you to ask and remind constantly. Every single piece of marketing, this should be the aim, is at getting the appointment. Every single piece of marketing needs a scheduling link, which ideally you're going to be tracking so you can see where they're coming from. When you're just getting started with this, of course, I understand you might not always want tracking links everywhere, but by the time you come to bringing in a lot of leads using this method, you're going to want to know exactly which pieces of marketing are working. So eventually you're going to want to track the links too, so you can tell where they're coming from. You're going to want a scheduling link at the end of every blog you write. If you republish it onto LinkedIn post, you're going to want a different scheduling link at the end of that one. You're going to want scheduling links to book in appointments at the end of every report, every webinar. Everything you do, you're constantly going to be asking for the appointment. And of course, you add it to all of your emails. So, a case study. Claire's a life coach who just moved back from New Zealand, and she was starting again from scratch with her business here in the UK. She needed to hit the ground running and bring in clients fast. Claire followed our advice completely. Once we started work together, she became appointment only, got to grip with Facebook ads, and brought in 5 new private coaching clients in an 8-week period. So, in a nutshell, this is how you can use this to add 100 people to your email list in the next 7 days. Create a great piece of marketing that changes beliefs and positions you as a thought leader, whatever form that piece of marketing will take. Ensure you ask people to book in for an appointment at the end of the marketing piece. Place it behind an opt-in using something like lead pages or ClickFunnels. You need some method of making sure that you can collect these email addresses. Email it out to those who opt in and ask for the appointment here too. So you can ask for the appointment in the email as well. Advertise your lead magnet on Facebook to the relevant target audiences. Now, could you use these methods to bring in just one client a week in the next 8 weeks? What difference would it make to you if you knew your marketing was delivering leads every single day, reliably, like clockwork, day after day? Let me ask you a question. What would it mean for you? Let's say you charge on a monthly basis and you're charging $350 a month. I don't know what you do, so let's imagine that you're some type of coach or consultant, you charge monthly. By the time you brought in 4 clients, that's $1,400 a month. 10 clients, that's $3,500 a month. 20 clients, that's $7,000 a month. Let's say that you charge $1,000 a month. 4 clients is going to be $4,000 a month you've added to your revenue. 20 clients is going to be $20,000 a month. Let's imagine that you run online programs of some sort, or that maybe you ask them to invest in one-off projects with you. If you were to charge $4,000 as a one-off investment, if you were to bring in 2 new clients a month, that's $8,000. 4 clients, $16,000. 10 clients a month, $40,000. Just imagine what difference it would make to your business knowing that you could reliably get in these clients month after month. So here's what I promised. How to add 100 people per day to your email list in the next 7 days, and how to do it again the next week and the next on autopilot. How to create your own market for your services and leave the competition way behind. The proven step-by-step system that will see you automating all of your lead generation. How to treat your email list as your biggest asset. You need never be short of leads again. How to monetize your email list fast. None of this email nurturing, turning them from a click on an ad into a phone call in less than 48 hours. And how to do all of this while spending less time chasing down leads than you ever have before. Now, this is how I can help. You could, after this webinar, go and waste hours creating lead magnets and waste hundreds more advertising them and get it wrong. Or you could work with someone who knows exactly how to tie your specific message to what the market wants. You could go and waste hundreds or even thousands on Facebook ads and target incorrectly the wrong type of prospects for you. Or you could work with someone who knows exactly how to target the people that will respond to you best. Or instead, you could speak with me and my team. My team and I have set aside some time over the next few days where we can talk with you about how this can work in your business. Now, who this is for, you must be willing to learn, and you must be super committed about getting this set up in your business fast. And please understand, this is not a get-rich-quick scheme. It takes dedicated daily effort and hard work. Yes, we can create lead magnets that will deliver leads on autopilot, but there's going to be hard work involved in the testing and getting it off the ground. You must have real expertise to offer to your clients. If you're new to business, that's absolutely fine, but we do ask that you have relevant experience to teach to your clients. Now, why we're doing this. On the call, we're going to help you plan out exactly what you need to do to get this launched and delivering leads in your business fast. We're going to take you through the exact steps you need to make, where to find the leads, how to position yourself, and how you can overcome any problems you'll experience along the way. If you want us to help you, and if we believe we can help, we'll invite you to work alongside us to get this set up in your business. If you work with us, we'll expect you to take maximum action and start attracting in high quality leads within 1 to 2 weeks. We'll work alongside you to identify the precise targets to use in your Facebook ads, how to craft the ads, which images to use, and how to bid effectively. We will work alongside you to ensure your lead magnets resonate with your target audience, look professional, and that they actually create appointments for you. One of the keys to what we do is ensuring we give you all of the technical support needed to tie all of the pieces together. So if you haven't understood any of the names of the pieces of software, if you don't understand what any of the software is for, don't worry. We can definitely help with all of that. So simply click below and apply to speak with us now. Spaces are limited, so please book your appointment today. I look forward to speaking with you.